Hello and welcome back to another video. This is your match reaction to Newcastle AC Milan. Newcastle lost 2-1 in the end. And listen, I'm a West Ham fan. I do match reactions on other big games as well. And I've covered Newcastle quite a bit throughout this channel for a bit. Well, over the past 2 months, I'd say. Once I started doing match reactions to other teams as well. And yeah, I actually thought they were going to do the job today. I really thought they were going to do the job today. And as a West Ham fan watching, I was like, I wouldn't mind like a team outside the Big Six trying to do well in the Champions League. Like, I never thought they would get far, but a little round of 16 thing, and would have been nice to see PSG knocked out for once because they always seem to get away with it. But yeah, they were robbed against PSG, but they held on a 1-0 lead and you had a chance to use that as fuel, and you can see, man, they're exhausted. But at the same time, like, these goals that they're conceding, like, oh, come on, man. Come on. Like, it's basic stuff. I know, like, they are teared down with injuries and stuff like that, but a lot of teams are. Like, a lot of the big teams as well, like Chelsea and Man United and Tottenham and even Brighton, all turned down to injuries. A few teams have injuries. Even Liverpool are starting to gain a few injuries again. So that's going to come. That's part and parcel of football. And some of the goals they were conceding was, yeah. And even before the Chuck Wazy goal, Rafa Leao should have scored. And every time I watch Leao, which isn't much, Leao always does something fantastic or he should finish a chance. Like, he always gets a chance where he should finish it. I like watching him because he does something good, but then he gets so frustrated when he gets into the box because it's not good enough. The end product isn't good enough. And, well, even when they brought Isak on today, Newcastle, even he looked tired. When they brought him onto the left wing, like, there are so many times when they could have driven with the ball and stuff, but it didn't feel like the same intense Newcastle. So they're probably playing 1 game a week now, I think, due to AC Milan going above them, which is, in my opinion, probably better for someone like us, West Ham, because I don't want to face Newcastle in Europe, because we already have to face them twice in the league. And listen, I just think that they might be a bit more beneficial for them, because I still think that they need a slightly bigger squad to maybe compete in Europe. They've been very unlucky with injuries. Even Nick Pope's out to like March or something. So I don't know whether they're going to invest in a goalkeeper. I think Dubravka's an okay keeper, like for a number 2, but him playing week in, week out, I don't know whether that's going to hinder them a bit. I don't think people should be debating about Eddie Howe's position either. And this guy got them from relegation to the Champions League, and I think he'll be good enough to compete in Europe. They fast-tracked themselves away to the Champions League, and all of a sudden there's so much expectation on them. They're not going to stay around there. Like, it's good. There's going to be a natural dip, but they'll be back up there soon. And I think there's a lot of positives they can take, but they will have to be disappointed with the fact that they just couldn't get over the line. And they probably should have gone over the line. Like, you even go back at the 2 games against Dortmund, they were very, like, they just wasn't clinical enough. It was I don't know whether clinicality is a word. I don't know what the fucking word is. But it was just a lack of being clinical, and that comes down to, like, just the attack. I think Anthony Gordon's done really well, but I guess him and Trippier had to come off because the workload they've had. Lewis Miley, with the workload he's had, he's a good player. He'll come through and he'll play good. It's good that Longstaff and Wilson are back for them. But Wilson's only just come back. Longstaff's only just come back. Dan Burn has also only just come back. Maybe the use of Lewis Hall as well. Maybe he's not ready, I don't know. But I think Lewis Hall is a good player. I would have taken him at West Ham at left back, that's for sure. And he can play multiple positions. I think he could play a key role as well. They've got the Carabao Cup in midweek, next midweek as well. So that'll be, if they get knocked out, I think they've got Chelsea, so they might win that. But if they get knocked out, then they'll be probably playing once a week unless there's a Premier League midweek schedule. And again, that'll be more beneficial for them. They can work on themselves, kind of thing. And they need a bit more backing. I think, despite them spending a bit more money, Obviously, they got unlucky with the Tonali thing. Maybe should have done a bit more research, or maybe the club didn't know. Maybe they should have done a background check or whatever. Maybe there was just no way that they could have known that Tonali was in that situation. But and now that they've got more money in, now that if you watch the documentary they had on Amazon Prime, that they're trying to generate more money, so they can spend more because of the funds they have. They'll get to a certain level at a point where they're competing in the Champions, maybe not competing in the Champions League straight away, but competing to at least get into the Champions League and going on cup runs and try to get an FA Cup, etc. They should try and go for that FA Cup. I'm looking forward to that Sunderland Newcastle game as a neutral because that was one of the better derbies in the Premier League growing up. But overall, I still think that Newcastle should be happy with how far they've come if they take a look back and just realize what just happened. Like they've just been in the Champions League, and there was no one expected them to get further than fourth. But when they were in the situation to qualify in the top two, they should have taken their chances. Should have done better in the games against Dortmund. They weren't good enough, especially Dortmund away. I remember watching that game. I thought they were a bit toothless then. So that game especially, they should have done better. So you can think of it. I'm gonna lift up both sides of it and say that as much as nobody expected you to finish there, and it's fine, like, cool, you finished fourth in one of the hardest groups because of the pot you were in, etc., you still should have taken your chances. You competed, and you could have got over the line. PSG have somehow managed to get over the line as well. They get very lucky in general, PSG. And I was rooting for Newcastle as well, but I don't really like English teams apart from, like, I don't really care about Liverpool, but Man City, I don't mind them. I don't mind Newcastle either. I don't like an Arsenal, Man United doing well in Europe. Quite happy that Man United are not in Europe, etc. I don't usually root for English teams in Europe. But I was rooting for Newcastle. It was their first time coming back. I haven't seen a team outside the Big Six since Leicester be in the Champions League. So this was good to see. And yeah, overall the match, they should have just finished their chances, and they were getting counted on at the end, and you can see how tired they were at the end. But adrenaline, give your all out there. If you got to leave there with one leg, you leave there with one leg. You got to try your best, and it's a balance of bad luck and just accountability they've got to take. They're going through a bit of a rough patch, but they'll be fine. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me, and the email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.